this week in my spare time, what little of it I have been I've been playing a little bit of World of Warships, the operations, which are player versus environment. And I had a bad time the last 4 games I played where my guns just really weren't behaving. Just frustration galore. Okay, field 20. Oh, it's actually turned right. It's close to the animal dealer. I could have gone the other way. And I've also been playing a game called Exogate, which is, it's basically Stargate without the license, which is kind of fun. You explore strange new worlds, beat up aliens, and steal their stuff. Let's put them all on. Okay, let's adjust the view, and we'll just run around this field 3 times. Technically don't need the crop sensors on because there are no crops to sense. I'm not really sure how crop sensors work when the crops aren't germinated yet. This would be the time where you use solid fertilizer and just fling it out there, or inject it when you're planting. 1 nugget of fertilizer per seed or whatever. But this is what we have, this is what we'll use. Oh, there's another thing. Didn't check the store this morning. But there was a new mod on the mod hub this morning. Might be last night, but definitely there this morning. A Fendt tractor, a very old Fendt tractor if I'm not mistaken. Which as soon as I finish spraying this field, we might take a look at in the store. Because I haven't looked at it yet. It's one of those tractors. It's been available in Farm Sim 17 as a mod and in Farm Sim 19 as a mod. I think the Farm Sim 17 mod was quite good. I used it on one of my many Old Street Farm playthroughs. It was an incredibly useful little tractor. And then it was available in Farm Sim 19, but I didn't like the way the mod worked, so I never bothered using it in 19. It was still a good tractor, it's just there were issues that just detracted from using it, so I didn't bother. As I said, we'll take a look at that as soon as this contract is finished, which won't be long. Like I said, we'll just go around the field 3 times. I'm not even sure we're going to do that. %complete. Typically I will fertilize the entire field, because if I do end up buying this, I think there is bonus nitrogen where you sprayed. So if you miss some bits off, there's gaps in the nitrogen levels. So basically you would buy this field and then purchase the soil map, and it will rebuild the nitrogen. Okay, have fun. I will, as I said, get this field done, and I'm going to take a look at the new tractor. Or the new old tractor, the old new tractor. We have finished the contract, yay. And indeed. That is done. We can fold that up, and while that's folding, we go to small tractors. This thing. Oh, interesting. So there's the 380 GTA Turbo and the Xylon 524. That one's a little bit more expensive. That's kind of interesting. So this one basically has a flat thing on the front. Yeah, the engine is underneath and not very big, 95 horsepower. Wheel setup, wheel brands. You can change the wheel brand. You can change the wheels. So that brand just comes with or without weights. That one comes with wides and weights. Continentals, wides. And the Michelins. Oh, the Michelins come with narrows. And they're not ugly narrows. Rear narrow twins, wides, with the weight standard, and then we're back to Trollborgs where the narrows look a little bit crazy. Main colour, you can get a blue one, you can get an orange one. Rim colour, you can get white rims and silver rims. So very basic configuration, 95 horsepower. The other one would be the Xylon 524. It's 147 horsepower. Cab's more, looks a bit like a Zerion style setup. Again, no engine options, we just have the wheels. Wide tyres, wides, wheel weight, standard. So no narrows for this one. Check the Michelins. No. Oh yes, one narrow tyres right there. They look a little bit silly. Continental, standard twins, rear twins, wides. So very, very basic. But you can get combinations. You can put a front loader on it. You can put a 1450 litre tank and a 200 litre rear tank. So you can turn it into a sprayer, you can put a front loader on it. And if we look at the Xylon combinations, slightly different front loader setup, same size tank, but it's basically a little spraying tractor. Now, back in FS17, you could also get it with a tipper. So you got a little tipper attachment that went there. It would tip forward. Great for feeding animals. You'd run off, you fill your tipper up with food, you drive into the animal shed and just tip up and reverse back out. Brilliant stuff. You can attach normal attachments on the back. But it was a little bit more versatile as in 17 than it was in 19, and then also I had issues with the FS19 mod, but it's a funny little tractor. Okay, let's get paid. We'll progressively get paid as we work our way around here, as opposed to taking time. I don't know that I checked the store sales, did I? Yes. Alrighty, let's go next field. Where is the next field? Next field will be over here somewhere, so we are doing 29. 29 and 33 are there. 35 and 38 and 39 are down there. So we'll come along here. There's an entrance there. We can visit those two fields. Then we have to go down here and in here to get to the last three. But that's a quick little run around. How's the sprayer? Sprayer looks good, the weight looks good, the tractor looks good. And I still didn't check what the the silage fermentation. I think probably by this evening the grass silage should be ready to sell. That's a little over 1 million litres, which I wish I could save until next month. If I've got 30,000 money by the end of the month, I should, well, make it 40,000. If I've got to 40,000 in the bank by the end of the month, I think what I can then do is put off selling the silage and take the hit on the interest payments and loan repayments, because we know the silage price in October should be way higher than it is in September, like significantly higher. We'll get 33% more. Now, field 27 is that field just to our left, in front of us. So I think we want to drive in here and do this one. And of course, I didn't look to see how much the that's fine. Oh, that's pressing the wrong button. Alright, let's do this. Oh, this is Cameo, welcome! Yes, you just missed Longhauler. He's been here most of the morning. He was here all day on the 4th as well, or at least most of the day. But welcome to Glenleathann. Hope you had a good Happy Traitors Day. What do you call that? Independence Day, yes, indeed. We went to see a firework display, which unfortunately the fireworks were all wet, so it wasn't so much of a display. We gave it about 20 minutes after the scheduled start time, and then decided, yeah, it's a work day, I've got to get home because I've got to work on Friday. And then next day, Mrs. Osa looked it up and they said, yeah, they postponed it until Friday night because their fireworks were all wet. And then We had scattered thunderstorms and serious rain showers yesterday evening. We decided it's probably not worth going to check on it because it's probably going to be really bad. Yeah, it's probably not going to work again. Yeah, well, to be fair, there's not a lot left of the British Empire. In fact, it's kind of amusing, but because you went the way of rebellion, you don't get to play in the British Commonwealth, which is something that most of our former colonies, except America, actually get to do. Just think, you could be playing exciting games like cricket and soccer. And at least up until the 1980s, if you were from a Commonwealth member, you had the right of just turning up in England with minimal paperwork, and you could work there. And theoretically vice versa. If I still had my British passport, I could probably go and work in India if I felt like it. Although there have been changes to immigration and work permits concerning Commonwealth member states in more recent years. Well, I mean, the way I look at it, cricket is about as exciting as baseball. You watch people throw a ball around for 5 hours, and it's usually the last 5 minutes. Either the game is already decided, or it gets down to the last 5 minutes as to this team needs to make 40 runs, and there are 2 more ends to bowl from before the game's over, and each end is 6. Can they make? Are they going to make it or not make it? But the number of close calls in cricket is not significant. But it's a good opportunity to sit around in a field with bees and cucumber sandwiches and cream teas and scones and jam, and watch a bunch of people throwing a ball around. I never found much interest in cricket. And likewise, I find very little interesting about baseball, except potentially for the last 10 minutes. Or the last innings. But you've got 9 innings. Yeah, they play 9 innings, and then right at the end, that's when it all gets decided. Or it's all over before you get to that point. It's like, okay, game's over. At least with something like American football, I do remember one of the London early series, London Monarchs games. London were down, I think, about 20 points. And it got to the 4th quarter, and pretty much the entire crowd went home. That was a bad plan because the best football was played in that 4th quarter. What's it? The World League of American Football at the time was the place where they were testing out the 2-point conversion. So it hadn't made it into the NFL, and World League of American Football was basically a trial of... I forgot to get paid, didn't I? No. Okay. A trial of proposed rules for the NFL. And so they had the 2-point conversion. So I think London managed to pretty much get within 8 points of the team that was winning, and really the final 2 minutes they had the ball. All they had to do was to get down the field, do the 2-point conversion. They'd already managed one, and the game would have gone into overtime. So it was quite a thrilling end to the game, and most of the crowd had already gone home, which was a little bit sad, but understandable because London traffic is horrible. I stayed till the end. I was on a motorbike, so London traffic is, at the time, was not an issue for motorcycles. You could get out there and you could make your way home in a very short order. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think the NFL does sponsor tests of proposed rules in things like college football. But when they got the World League of American Football was set up, later was called the WNFL or something, whatever it was. They used to use that as a tryout for proposed rules, and so and because part of the reason why the World League of American Football wasn't a particular success was it was predominantly NFL players. Sort of early career NFL players were sent off to the World League of American Football to play and get game experience in a game, in a competitive setting. And the rule was, I think, you have a team of 45? I think 8 of the players had to be nationals. So, the London team had 8 locals playing for it. One was a soccer player who was the kicker. We did have a couple of other guys who were rugby players who, doubled up as, people who play rugby tend to be heavy and fast, so some form of fullback or halfback, running back position. Tight end was a popular position to fill. But the quarterbacks were all American, the wide receivers generally were American, the linemen, the defence, predominantly American in all of the World League teams. So there wasn't quite so much national fervour for the game. It was, it's like a bunch of Americans turning up and showcasing one of their sports that nobody else in the world plays. And that was the general opinion of the countries that they played. So the World League of American Football went on 2 seasons and then folded, and then it became sort of the World NFL, and I think most people had got bored with it then. But as I said, it did give them a chance to try out new NFL rules, which are now in the game, because you had NFL players doing it. And it was a fun day out at Wembley for those of us that lived there. But then since then, we now have the NFL does show pre-season show games in foreign countries. So at the time, I think I saw 2 World League games, and I also saw pre-season game between Philadelphia Eagles and Buffalo Bills, and the following year year, we got to see a pre-season game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. And the amusing story behind that one was the owner of the Dallas Cowboys had basically said, I'm not interested in playing games outside of this country. We are, Dallas is America's team and we are only going to play in America. And the NFL commissioner basically turned around and said, you are going to England and you are going to have fun. And Jerry Jones was very much don't want to go, don't want to do this. It's going to mess up the schedule because obviously you've got jet lag and everything else in play. And he's like, I'm not going to have fun here. This is going to be absolutely terrible, and I'm just going to use it to prove that we just don't need to be doing this. And he got there. The stadium was full. I'm not necessarily going to say team fans, because it really was, there was a good following of American football fans in the UK. We'd had a roundup show on the TV for a number of years by that point, and so it had built up a good following. And whilst fans supported specific teams, it was just an opportunity to get out, go to London and watch real NFL teams play football in a pre-season setting. So you got to see the starters for the first drive, and then you got to see the backups. But it was, it was all the fanfare and everything else. And so the fans went, and like I said, I didn't support Dallas or Washington. It was just, I get a chance to see two American football teams play football live, and the streaker. But Jerry Jones at the end of it said the fans were incredible. This was a really amazing experience. Can we do Frankfurt, Tokyo, and Barcelona? We want, we might be America's team, but this is such an amazing experience. We want to get out there and showcase the game to everybody in the world, type of thing, and completely changed his attitude following that experience. Kind of funny, but there you go. All right. That is another field sprayed, and we still have 54% of the tank left. And then I think since we came to America, I've watched 3 or 4 seasons of football, and these days I kind of really can't be bothered. Also, because you have to get the NFL Sunday ticket if you want to see any of the games of the team you actually support, as opposed to the team in your district. Do I have another field up here to do? Saying 29. I thought I did 29. Where am I? Oh, over there. Or was it 30 I did? No, 29. I just did that. Okay, we complete that one. We've got 35 and 39.